Hello again, brothers and sisters. Today I want to deal with the third part of a series of lessons that pertain to Israel. In the previous two lessons I dealt with the identity of Israel and identified them through history and scripture. In this lesson I want to deal with the solution to the African American or Israelite problem, because it is obvious that we have some serious problems. If you look at our condition, you know that we are in a tumultuous state. Okay? But I want to read something before I get to the lesson. I want to read this message that I received from this brother. Because in my lessons, I've got some messages, some good and some bad, and that's fine. I want to read this one because it speaks directly to the heart of the matter. It says, "Shalom, brother. Your videos are so true. The question that remains, though, is what is the good news? Now that we know we are Hebrews and the chosen people, where do we go from here? It can become depressing. There are not even places to worship that are teaching the truth and living it." Now, brother, I want to deal with the first part of what you said. Yes, the question that remains, though, is what is the good news? Well, the good news is the gospel. The gospel is simply that the Lord is going to establish an heavenly kingdom here on earth. Now, I'm going to deal with that in another lesson. But right now, I want to deal with the latter part of your question, or your response. You say, now that we know we are Hebrews and the chosen people, where do we go from here? It can become depressing. There are not even places to worship that are teaching the truth and living it. Now, as an individual, some things that we can do. We can, first of all, get into the scripture. Read our Bibles. Pray to the Lord for understanding. Okay? And ask ourselves this question. Is what I'm doing written of in Scripture? Sunday worship, is it written of in Scripture? No, it's not. Easter, is it written of in Scripture? You can't find it. Christmas, read Jeremiah 10. It tells us about the decking of trees with silver and gold, about the axeman that cuts out the tree in the forest. That was a custom that was done long before the birth of Jesus. Okay? Sun worshipers dealt in it. Okay? Ask yourself, is what I'm doing of the occult, is it pagan? Or is it written of in Scripture? Because you will find that most of the Christian worship today, if you research it, you can go all the way back in your research and find that it is pagan in origin. Okay? And it has nothing to do with the God of this creation. Nothing to do with Jesus. Okay, so that's one thing. The next thing you can do is look for a place to worship. Now, again, if they're dealing in the customs that I just talked about or touched upon, that's not the place to go. Don't go to a place just because you think you need to go someplace. Because Jesus said, "Where two or three are gathered in my name, I am in the midst of thee." Okay, so they have to have, a place that you go has to have certain qualifications. For instance, if the place is not teaching the laws of God, teaching its members to adhere to the laws of God, you need to keep on moving. Okay? If the church is not preaching faith in Jesus, you need to keep on moving. Okay? If they're not partaking and observing the feasts of the Lord that are written of in Leviticus, you need to keep on moving. And brothers and sisters, there are not a lot of places that are doing this. Therefore, again, that's why I pray. You need to pray to the Lord and find what's in Scripture and really seek, and just don't go to the first place that you see. Now, as a nation, we need to turn back to God. And that's what I want to deal with in this lesson. The solution to the African American problem. Because we look at our condition and we look at our problems such as miseducation, poverty, and the illnesses that we suffer, the loss of identity. We look at this and a lot of times we don't realize what it's from. Well, it's from the curses that God placed on His people. And so because we don't know that we have been cursed by God, we don't know our identity, then we go about to do things that really won't solve our problems. For instance, we will march on Washington, which really doesn't solve our problem. Our problem is we have been cast into slavery and we are in a strange land. Ever since our forefathers came here, We have we've lost our identity, no land, in poverty, no spiritual understanding. Okay? That's our problem. Our solution, again, is written up in Scripture. But I want to prove, if you didn't see the first and second lesson pertaining to Israel, who Israel is, I just want to read something to you that kind of touches upon the matter. It's in Deuteronomy 28 and 68. Because here Moses was prophesying of what was to happen to the children of Israel even before they went into the promised land. This is how I know the Holy Bible, the Holy Scriptures are true. Because God tells the end from the beginning. No other God does that. No other book does that. Deuteronomy 28 and 68 reads, "And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships, by the way whereof I spake unto thee. Thou shalt see it no more again. And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you." Now, brothers and sisters, think about it. How did you get here? How did your forefathers get here? By way of slave ships. Here, he's identifying who Israel is. Here, Moses is prophesying of the transatlantic slave trade before it even took place. And he says Israel was going to be taken into slavery by way of ships. And here we are, in captivity. So that's just touching upon who we are as a people. Now, the solution to our problems. Because again, we don't, for the most part, don't even know who we are. We don't have our own homeland. We are in poverty. And we've lost our way. We truly have, as a people. We spiritually are following our oppressors, the people that first captured us and put us in slavery, and they are pagans. Therefore, we are pagans. Okay, we don't worship the God of our forefathers, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. But let's go to Deuteronomy 4. Because again, here Moses prophesies of our captivity even before we enter the promised land. But he gives the solution to our problem. Deuteronomy 4 and 25 reads, "When thou shalt beget children and children's children, and ye shall have remained long in the land, and shall corrupt yourselves, and make a graven image, or the likeness of anything, and shall do evil in the sight of the Lord thy God, to provoke him to anger." See, he said once we get off into false worship, like we are today, okay? Once we get off into paganism and idolatry, like we are off in today, he says, "I call heaven and earth to witness against you this day, that ye shall soon utterly perish from out the land whereunto ye go over Jordan to possess it. Ye shall not long prolong your days upon it, but shall utterly be destroyed." Again, this was the prophecy even before Israel went into the land of Canaan. That they would corrupt themselves, that they would partake in idolatry, and that they would be cast out of the land. And they were cast out of the land and were scattered into the four corners of the earth, into all the nations of the earth as slaves. 27 reads, "And the Lord shall scatter you among the nations, and ye shall be left few in number among the heathen, whither the Lord shall lead you." Here in America, we're about 14% of the population. Okay? Few in number among the heathen. Okay? And heathen are simply people that don't know the true and living God. That's all a heathen is. 28. "And there ye shall serve gods, the work of men's hands, wood and stone, which neither see, nor hear, nor eat, nor smell." And brothers and sisters, this is what we do today. We worship these false idols. We worship the false gods. Even though it has, much of what we do has a Christian name. Most of Christianity today is reaped in iniquity, because it is idol worship. Okay, it is based on old sun worship, and most of it comes from the Roman Catholic Church. Okay, it is not Christian at all. The one sign that you can see and tell that it is not Christian is because you have the day Sunday. Okay, the day of the sun. You cannot read in Scripture where the Lord commanded to have a holy convocation on that day. The Lord sanctified the seventh day, even in the book of Genesis. Okay?